This is my drawing of the superfluid anti-gravity centrifuge engine, which is used in all of the ATS craft at Area 51. It's basically a hollow container. Sometimes they're just like a circular tub, but the faster sport models use a hollow donut shape instead, a torus. The container is filled with a special kind of liquid. I don't know its exact composition because that was like out of my department, but I can tell you that it was a dense, viscous, silvery fluid, and when you looked at it, it changed color from green to purple. This green-purple luminescent optical property could only be seen in white light with like blue-green spectrum. So they had all the lights switched to sodium lamps, so that you couldn't tell this. The container is hooked up to a refrigeration cycle, which keeps the fluid inside supercooled below its lambda point. The fluid then becomes a superfluid, which of course flows with zero resistance. The fluid is also a ferrofluid, although I'm not sure if the fluid itself is ferromagnetic or whether it has ferromagnetic particles suspended in the fluid like tiny magnets or something, but these are the only two really important properties of the fluid that you need to be concerned with, is that it's a superfluid and a ferrofluid. The magnetic coiling is on the outside, which will produce a magnetic field to propel the fluid around the inside of the container. That's what you need, a magnetic fluid, so you have magnets on the outside to make the fluid spin around the inside, and because it's a superfluid, spinning it faster and faster, it won't ever slow down because the superfluid state has effectively removed all the friction, so this thing can just get sped up super fast. And the coil itself is wound in the sport models with the toroidal shaped container. The coil is wound to a specific vortex geometry. There's a mathematician named Marco Rodin who created an identical coiling, which he calls the Rodin coil. But it's the same exact coiling used in the sport model crafts with a toroidal or donut-shaped accelerator. So if you use the right-hand rule to trace all the magnetic field lines generated by this coiling, you'll find that they max at infinity in the center of the torus, around like the inside, the very inside, and they sort of swirl around in a vortex pattern around that infinity max down at the very center of the container. It's sort of a spiral within a spiral, like it's a spiral that's spinning around the circle, which this generates an extremely powerful magnetic field that swirls the fluid around inside at incredibly high speed, about 60,000 RPMs. That's basically 1,000 revolutions every second. And this creates the anti-gravity effect, and that's how it works. That's how to build it. That's all the steps need. Just need the refrigeration unit, the magnetic coiling, and a superfluid. And it's a perfectly spherical container, and it would help to make the container out of something really strong, because the forces that are generated by this will rip the container literally apart, because you need a really strong container. The containers that they use are made of a specialized aluminum alloy. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, but I'll have more on that in another video later. I just wanted to get the plans and everything up on the anti-gravity device and the anti-gravity centrifuge engine, so that people could see how these UFOs fly, what sort of propulsion system they're using. And you know, of course, the only way to debunk this is to make your own and see if it works. I'm sure you could find some superfluid to use that would also have ferrofluid properties, but of course you're going to need cryogenics lab and a bunch of scientists. Let me know if you need any help.